Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Anno 1800. You join us in the new and improved Ditchwater. Now, I've spent a lot of time rearranging every single one of my old world settlements because things just weren't shaping up very well, and we've made adjustments all over to free up a little bit of space on every single island, which is great for us. So we're going to have a little look at Ditchwater first. You can see I've started mapping out a 10 by 10 square for all of my residences, and this is just basically from doing a bit of research and having a look at what some of the best layouts are. And a 10 by 10 square for most of your internal buildings works out really nicely because you can fit little decorative items in, and there's enough space to add in any buildings that you might need to increase the reach of your buildings. Like over here, these guys really need a pub. They don't have access to one at the moment, so we could come in here and we could have a little look at where we can fit in a pub. As it happens, it looks like if we go to our farmers and find a pub here, we might be able to fit one on the corner. Not quite, but now I could just demolish two farmers' residences here to fit that pub in on the top. So we're going to do that. We're actually just going to demolish these workers' residences, sorry, and we're going to put in a pub right there. Now, if we have a look at our residents here, you can see their pub need is filling up really well and maxes out. So our workers will now kind of move back in there, which doesn't cause much of an issue. Now, currently farmer residences are really stacked up at the moment. We will probably need to expand that in the future. But what I've done is I've saved a stamp here, so we can just place this in and we can kind of adjust and rotate, and there's a little square in the middle where I can put in an extra residence or kind of fill that space up with some decorative items as well. But because of the space limitations, I am actually just putting in extra residences and then putting in a little bit of a road. Over at our engineers, everybody is happy. Our sewing machine production is up again, and yeah, they're content. Then looking down here at the artisans, they are happy. They've got all of their needs fulfilled because of the town hall thing here where rum and beer and canned food are fulfilled, so that reduces a little bit of the impact that a lot of our industry or lack thereof is having. So that is really, really good. We're not quite ready to push into the engineer buildings, which is a bit of a shame, but if we have a look at all of our other settlements, the layouts have been done pretty much exactly the same way. So plenty of artisans over here that are fulfilled and happy. They do need beer here, and if I look, we're not getting a lot of furs in, so we're going to need to kind of boost the production over here because the furs are being exported back over to Ditchwater to create fur coats. Luckily, if we have a look at our fur coat production here, you can see our fur dealers now don't require cotton fabric. They use wool instead, and we are producing quite a lot of wool. That comes from somebody working in our trade union here, the costume designer, which is really, really useful. So what is our plan for today? Well, we've got a few tutorials, and this is a delivery quest from Beryl. Where is it? It is in the New World. Do I have ships here in the New World? I do. So let's just take that delivery quest. We'll take our flagship and we will go to her and pick that up. Actually, I'm going to grab this snapping turtle frigate because that has something that I need. It's got the peace mode activated. But if we have a quick look, not my trade routes, if we look at our diplomacy here, you will very quickly see we are kind of in a really nice place with the pirates, so we're just going to offer some gifts. She's declined that, but can we flatter her? No, that didn't work. That reduces our reputation with Anno a little bit. But again, we can offer gifts, and Jean Lafortune sorts himself out, so that's nice. We've got lots of money, and our money is rolling in quite nicely, so that's really good. We're making about 12, just under 13k. Oh, it's just gone over 13k, so that's really good. That tells us that people are happy here. So today, if we have a look here, we've got the contract. So that is where we were at, and we're going to pick that up again. The House of Pyre. The prosperity contract must be here. The Casona looks quite modern with its white walls and pleasant gables. There's even an adjoining orangery, extending naturally towards the peat parterres of the sweet-smelling garden. An arc of white gravel serves as a drive with long lines of equally white picket fence bordering the acreage in a typically colonial style. Indeed, were it not for the unusual height of this perimeter and the shelters abutting it at regular intervals, armed guards no doubt stationed in each, it would appear very much as any other estate. You consider your plan of entry. So we can either go bold with an assault on the house, we can send someone in dressed as one of the congregation, or we can be sneaky. We are going to try and be crafty with this. Everything suggests the masked guard at the gate has been fooled, but then she asks for a password. A password. Oh, God. Let's go with Fuego. Did it work? Oh, okay. Oh no, we've lost our guide. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work, did it? Right. Have we now been captured? Of course, but the moment your imposter passes the gate, they're seized. With little time now before the contract has moved on by foot or the rest of your brigade open fire. Cloaked figures on horseback flood into the garden from the stables. Even the gardeners have down tools and pulled pistols. This is going to be rough. Let's try and outflank them. Marathon battle style. It works and the guards are defeated. A few sailors are injured, but now the road to the house is open. The only question that remains now is which room to look for. Let's have a look in the library. We have discovered a reward. Oh, excellent. It is a silver shield, which we can put in a museum. Now, we've not yet built a museum, so that's something that we can look into later on. And our brigade has the place to themselves. For a library, there are very few books and no sign of that contract under P for prosperity, S for Sormento, or anywhere else. The mahogany shelves are mostly home to objets d'art. Cast iron animals never before seen, ornate weaponry, and marble votives to pyre. On the wall sits a glistening silver shield. It could be valuable. May as well have your men commandeer it before continuing your search. Well, why not? Can we go somewhere else then? Yes, so let's head to the assembly hall next. Ah, there's the contract. Good. And I guess our expedition continues. Right, okay, so we found the contract. And there's lots of beer coming into Ditchwater. We've got plenty of wool now. Schnapps is doing okay. It does drop down and then pick itself back up. We've got lots of wheat and grain, but our flour is massively underperforming. And I really can't figure out why. I've got a load of windmills and they are really like gunning the production. It might well be that they just need to be more of them. So let's put in 2 more and see if that changes anything. But that might see our grain drop down a little bit. Okay, now we're getting flour. That's good. Soap is not producing so well. And yes, Beryl, I am ready to pick up the cargo. So let's head back to the New World. And we will drop off that item there. Right, where do we need to go? We've got to deliver it to this clipper. And then again, we'll head back to the old world and take a look. Now, I want to do the same in the New World, sort out a lot of my things and get everything up to speed. If we have a look over here, this trade union is boosting all of our soap factories. And also we have an item in our harbour master's office that then has our fisheries produce tallow as well. But we don't seem to be producing enough tallow and soap. So if we have a look at our pigs, we've got loads. That's not an issue. In fact, we are overproducing pigs because we've got so many and we started putting the silos in. So if we add in a few more tallow rendering works, now we need 2 of these to sustain the stuff that's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this windmill because it's not really needed in that little area. We'll put another soap works there. And then 2 more tallow factories. I think they can probably go somewhere in here. Let's put them. Aim that. Oh, actually, we can. We'll put 2 more tallow works there. Then we'll grab this from the pigs and we'll just put it. Oh, God. That is frustrating. Right. So we'll put it there. Then we'll move this tallow factory there, and that can go there. Then we can just about run the road down. It's a little bit of a mess, but again, we'll decorate that. That's fine. So having a look again over here, what's our flour looking like? That is starting to produce. It will drop down, though. The wheat is maintaining a nice, even pace, and tallow and soap is producing at a nice, even rate as well. So that's fine. And we are missing pigs apparently, but pigs are being delivered, so that's good. And we're not going to upgrade those warehouses anymore. That puts us in a much better position here in Ditchwater, and we have lots of space to grow into. We are still at a not great population. We're making money, and our combined wealth is really, really good, so that's good. Over in our influence tab, though, trade, military expansion, we're getting lots, but culture we're struggling with. So we're going to have a look at our quest book here where we can either build a hotel, we can build our museum. So let's build that. Right, where can we find the museum? I assume it's going to be in engineers. There it is. That's a botanical garden though. The tourists, I guess. Are they museums? No. artisans, our museum. Right, so does our museum have modules? I'm not sure. It might well be that we can just kind of put this in. So I've got my zoo here, but I'll put the museum right next to the zoo. Then let's see what we need. We need to build an empty exhibit. So let's do that, an empty exhibit. So it works very much like the museum does, the zoo. So we'll run a road along here to there. And then we can equip this gift, which we got a long time ago. Ah, okay. And then that museum goes in there. And that's it. Pretty much the same. Right, Abel over in Embessa, they are goods thin again. I'm going to put another museum module in. So we've got we can now get new museum exhibits, and we can add more stuff into that museum to, again, boost the attractiveness of the settlement and increase our tourism income. Obviously, all of this is not going to fit in everywhere, so that's something that we will have to take care of. We're going to head to Embessa, where we currently have one ship waiting to load up, and we have this one here, which is just unloaded, so we're going to go back over here. We're going to trade in this clipper, and we've completed that quest for Beryl, which is great. We get a tortillera, which is always useful. We're going to load up all of this stuff into our clipper, and we are going to head back here to drop these goods off. Once that's done, that'll automatically complete the quest, and we can carry on with our other stuff. So, how's our expedition looking now? Do we have any updates on that? Probably not, no. They've been on the high seas for a long time because I haven't really been paying attention to it. But we can find lots of details and stuff. We can find out all about our animals, blah, 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 complete the sets, all of that sort of stuff. Right, so I reckon it might be time to take a risk. We are looking at potentially now moving into engineers production and looking at creating steam motors. We've got 2,751 engineers available. If we can create steam motors, we can start producing steam ships. And steam ships are what we're going to need to really boost our trade. But we do need concrete for that. Now, to get concrete up and running, we will need a concrete factory. So if we have a quick look at what we're going to need to do to create concrete, you'll see that we need a limestone quarry and a concrete factory. However, if I have a look over here, we've got these items here. Now, one of these, if I just remove this one, this miner, we have a quick look at this cementer. Instead of cement, this building, the concrete factory, will use clay. That will really help us because we can create concrete out of clay and iron. Our furnaces are up and running and they're doing quite well. So if we have a quick look here, we are producing steel. Not a lot though. That is dropping down quite gradually. So we should be able to get our concrete production up and running without the need of a limestone quarry. We do have limestone here. I think it's up in this location here. So we can build that limestone mine. But if we do build it, you'll see it requires a certain type of production. So it requires workers. Also, will require some maintenance. So we're going to need to be watchful of that. So instead of doing that, we could make use of clay, which has a far lower maintenance cost and should allow us to get that concrete factory running quite nicely. So let's put this in. That is our concrete factory. But we're not going to place it there. We're going to put it over in this area so we can make use of that perk from the trade union. Obviously, this is going to impact the two coal houses right there. So we can move this one. We do want to keep that in range as well because they make use of another bonus from there to increase their productivity. And that brings it into range. We can come around about to here, I think. There, and that is still in range, which is great. Then, if we just make a little road to there, that will stay in range and that will still get that. So the boost that they are getting comes from the iron founder. So if we make sure we keep that in, get rid of the miner, put in the cementer, That will then change the input for that good to clay and steel. Now we're producing concrete with a very minimal impact on our engineer workforce and our balance, because essentially we need this money. So we have a quick look. Our export and import contracts and stuff, we're slowly chipping away at them. We are now producing concrete, which means we can have a look at our steamships and our steam motors. Now we've got a brass smeltery that we can build and a furnace. Now the furnace requires coal and iron, which we do have. We also need zinc and copper so we can build the brass smeltery. Now we do have a zinc deposit here, and over here we have a copper deposit. Now we can't build any of these yet because we need concrete, which is why it's important that we start producing that early on. I'm going to drop my wool from here because we're producing enough of that, and I'm going to stick reinforced concrete on there, and we will see what we start producing there. So the factory is working now. It currently has a new input, and the maintenance cost is reduced by 6%. So let's have a quick look at our influence, because to get that head manager in optimization, let's see what we need. So for this, we need to invest influence in that perk. Now I reckon that means we build more trade unions. Military, we need to invest influence in that by increasing the size of our fleet, which we should be able to do. And trade, again, that's about investing influence too. Propaganda, if we can invest a large amount of influence in our newspaper, that'll give us some bonuses too. Of course, expansion has been massive for us. We've got a load of islands, but culture, we're going to need to expand our culture a little bit by adding more to the museum and the botanical garden, potentially on a new island, so we can get more visitors. So to do this for our first tourists, we're going to have a look at what we need to build a hotel. Now, our hotel is quite big. We're going to try and put it around the back here where these investors' houses are. So let's just demolish this and build our hotel here. I think we'll put it a little bit further back. Oh, we can't. Then do we need to move this engineer residence? Have we got somewhere else we can put it? I don't think so. Because I kind of want that there. And then, oh, right. Easy then. We'll pick up these engineers. We'll move them to the back of the hotel. There. Then we'll place the hotel. Like that. And then we can we squeeze? Oh, Anne's not happy with us for some reason. Let's just drop that in there. Oh, it fits perfectly. Oh, no, it doesn't. Damn. Right, so let's move these in engineers to here. Then we will have the road here just move up to this location. We will add in another road coming down to here. And then we can decorate that with some plants or something. Right, so we need a bus stop here for our tourists. We don't have a tourist mooring, and I think we should be able to fit one in. So let's take a quick look. Oh no, we do have a tourist mooring. It's right there. They need a connection to the tourist mooring. So we need to put in a bus stop. And our first bus stop can just go right here. And then our second bus stop can go by the hotel. Just out of range. Do they need to be in range of each other to be connected? I assume they do. So we'll stick a bus stop there. And then if we have a look at its reach, the network, right, so this helps us gauge where to build connecting bus stops. These bus stops are not connected. Or are they? As long as their green street overlays connect, then they should be okay. So we're next to the zoo there. That bus stop is going in there. We're just going to move this residence to here. Can we put this along here as well? And will this one fit next to it? Yes, it will. So let's put the bus stop here. Does that bring us in range? I'm not sure it does. Can we then move the hotel? if we move this bus stop to here a second and then shift the hotel to here, we're going to move the entrance so it's facing that way, and then we can put the bus stop there. Does that now bring us in range? I think so. They are overlapping. So that gives us a nice little range there. We are not, however, next to the museum. So let's copy this bus stop and put it at the end here. Maybe we move the museum a little bit. So let's shift that museum to here. So we can fit another empty slot next to it. Then we'll move the whole thing along so that it backs out onto that. Then we will add in a little street that comes along here. And we should now be able to get this bus stop copied, placed right on the edge there. And then I'll just add in a little road there. Now, if we have a look at our transport, you can see we've got the variety theatre, we've got the zoo, and we've got the museum. So, accessibility not great, but we can probably make that work. Even if a hotel is connected to a hotspot need by bus, the need might not be fulfilled 100% if the distance between them is too great. So, I mean, surely not. They're right next to each other. This is interesting, though. But we have tourists coming in. We are starting to make a bit of money. Let's have a look at that hotel. They want bread. They have a debuff. Right, okay. Interesting. Right. Let's have a look. What happiness do you have? You want fur coats as well. But they do have a debuff. Now, this might just be sorting itself out and leveling out. But it seems like it's not. Perhaps we need to rethink how we've got everything going on here. Because they don't quite overlap. I wonder if we just move this back one, maybe we have this kind of loop round. So the bus stop would be on the corner there, like that. And the road would then come up here. So that entrance kind of backs out onto the museum, and we can loop all of this around, and that might actually bring us into range. How's this looking then? Full range of the variety theatre, which is good. Still not in range of the museum, even though they overlap. The variety theatre is there, definitely. Is it because these circles need to be in that space? Do I now need to move all of this back so I can then fit in that bus stop just a little bit further along so its circle covers the entire entrance of the zoo? Maybe that's what I need to do. Which would involve... Oh, wait, I know what we can do. We can put a bus stop maybe right there. So we move this back one, move everything along a little bit. So if we do this, let's just move all of this back one square like that. Then we can link this up with the road here. And we can delete this here. And we'll delete that there as well. Put a road there. We will copy this bus stop. Yes, that will work. So I'll leave that road to there. We'll copy another bus stop that we'll place there. Now that still doesn't fulfill that. Oh, it just needs to be attractive. It needs to be more attractive. That's all it is. Right, so we can delete this. We don't need that, and we'll move everything back. It's about attractiveness, not the actual accessibility. Right, that makes a lot more sense. I was really confused because those bus stops were clearly in range of each other. So we need to boost the attractiveness, which is fine. We can do that, no problem. So, I'm kind of getting in grips with this now. We've got a museum up and running there at the front, backing out. I wonder if we can demolish this little old town wall here so that when you leave through the back, of the zoo, you end up right in front of the museum. And then we just need to decorate this space a little better. So I'm just going to quickly put in a few seasonal items. Let's have a look at the old town stuff, because that was really nice. And we maybe should put in like the enchanting tower. We'll stick that there. And the square tower. We've got the square tower in already. The guard tower. Put there. And the Hilda garden. No, let's just put some bright cobblestone in here. Like that. So when they leave, I wonder if we can just demolish this a bit and demolish that, and then see if we can put in a new city wall. Now it just abruptly ends, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, well, that's fine. We'll leave that as is. We could put the gatehouse in, actually. Let's do that. Let's get rid of this stuff. And then we've got the large archway, which we could put in, or a smaller archway here. And another one there. Then if we can continue the city wall, they don't even like match up with each other, which is a shame. Ooh, that puts a nice little thing in. That's good. We'll delete these two. We'll just see if we can place them back in. There we go. That looks much better. Then we'll put some cobble down in here. Right, so boosting attractiveness. What do we got going on? Our zoo is not particularly attractive, but we can, if we have a quick look at what we've got in terms of pathway ornaments, we do have a topiary avenue, which is quite large, but we should be able to place that in. We've got one there already. Wonder if we can put one in here. We can. So let's stick the topiary avenue here. And that might... Only 6%. Still, it hasn't really boosted the attractiveness of the space. It's only at 20. And the attractiveness here is currently 206. Do we have any animals to go in? Doesn't look like it. Let's see if we can change any animals out. Yeah, we haven't got anything. So I guess we just need to put more animals in and maybe boost the attractiveness of these spaces. We've got a little space here, so we could put in some nice items here. Maybe like the national park stuff or the pedestrian zone. Yeah, let's put a market hall in right next to the hotel, or a pavilion. No, I don't like that either. What else have we got? We've got the seasonal decoration. We've got city lights. Yeah, we'll put a little market square in here. So we'll stick in a telephone box in the middle. Like that. Then we can put in the sandpit and slide. No. Children's playground? Nah. We'll go with a sandwich shack, which I think is a nice little addition. And then we can add in like a little drinks shack or the bakery. Pizzeria? No. Let's put some of the market stalls in then. They're small enough. So we'll put the fishmonger here. Then we will just pick up and relocate the cheesemonger. And we'll put the grocer's stall on this side. They link up quite nicely. Got a florist who can go right there. A farmer's stall can go there. And let's put a nice steel clock house in. Then we've got the sandwich shack. Then we can put a family table right there next to the sandwich shack. And do we have any nice little ornate street kind of walkways? Yes, we've got some ground plates here that we can place in. There we go. Nice little area there. Does that then boost the attractiveness of the zoo? No, it doesn't. So these will need to be placed within the modules of the zoo, which means we're going to need things like this, like archways, fences, paving, I guess. So we definitely need these items, like a little channel bridge and stuff. We get these from expeditions. So all of the decorative items that we put in there actually don't boost this space. The only thing that will boost the space is getting these items, I guess. But that's something, again, we can look into as we expand. We're doing pretty well today. And I'm quite happy with how things are. We've got 117 tourists here anyway. They don't have working conditions, obviously, so that's great. But they have a nice customer pool, and we are getting people coming in. That is going to help us offset. Let's have a look at our concrete. We've got 15 units of reinforced concrete, which means we can take a look at building our first mine, but we are at the half-hour mark, so I'm inclined to say goodbye for today. That's ended up being a really good episode, and I hope you are enjoying the new look Ditchwater. I think it looks much better now. Obviously, the things like the zoo, we can make some adjustments. We maybe have to move these out a little bit further and see how that goes, or we move our residences a little bit further afield so that that looks a bit stronger. But I really like this, the old town kind of look and feel about it. Makes that museum look really nice. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time for another episode of Anno 1800. Bye-bye.